What's up, everyone? Welcome to another special edition of Stick to Football. I'm your host, Connor Rogers here. Joining me, a very special guest from Michigan, now on to the NFL, running back Karan Higdon. Karan, what's going on, man? Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me,
No
man.
problem. You could finally take a breather. A lot of the long draft process is over. What's this been like? All of this behind you now after a very successful college career, all these interviews, and now you could just enjoy the moment.
It's amazing. You dream your whole life of this moment, and it's finally here. Just going through the process and embracing everything that comes with it, and just learning the backstory of everything. You see things at the combine that you don't see on TV. Same with the Senior Bowl, and same when you meet, all 32 teams. You're really speed dating, and it's an amazing process, and I'm honored to be a part of it.
Yeah, and that was something I wanted to ask you about. You got a little bit of a jump start because you were a Senior Bowl invite, played in the game. A lot of great things said about you there. I know you got to show that you can pass protect, you can catch the ball. What was that process? Jim Nagy, the executive director, is a good friend of this show, and I think he does a great job with it. What do you think that week did for you down there?
Man, it was a big week for me. It was giving me the ability to answer a lot of questions. Can he catch out the backfield? How does he really look in pass protection when it's up and close and you're going against top-tier prospects every single rep? So being able to showcase those skills, constantly over and over and over again each day of practice was big time for me, especially in front of, GMs and head coaches.
Yeah, without a doubt. There's a lot of scouts down there, a lot of NFL people. And then you obviously, building off a successful week, you were telling me you were down in Miami training at Bommarito's. What was like a full day of training like? Like when were you up? How many workouts? What was that like down there?
Yeah, shout out to Bommarito and, his staff. He does a heck of a job, man, and it was an honor to be with him. Typically you get in about 6:37. He's going to make sure you have breakfast, get your protein. You're going to spend time with medical, doing massages, maybe acupuncture, stretching you, maybe just rehabbing you, depending if you got some nicks and bangs when you come in. And then from there, you're going to get on the field work. You're going to spend a lot of time out on the field, doing different things, maybe working on your 40, working on some position drills, and really just a wide range of things on the field. And from there, you go into the weight room. You may have lunch right after that, or you may hit the pool. And then after that, you're going to work out again. So it's a pretty extensive day,
it's a long
but
day.
It's all worth it.
Yeah, I've been down there before with Le'Veon Bell when he was doing his rehab, and it's a really long day for those guys. But, I mean, it pays off because you had a great NFL combine. Obviously, not just the strength, but the speed. Was there anything there that surprised you from those testing numbers, or were you feeling confident for a long time?
I was feeling confident for a long time. You trust what Pete does, and, he's going to be honest with you up front and tell you everything that he projects that you're going to do at the combine. And obviously, you can't really know until you do it. Nerves can play a part of it. When you're doing the medical things can swell up. So it really just depends on you, but ultimately, I wasn't shocked.
A lot of the things we don't get to see are the most interesting thing, and that's the interviews. Any weird interviews, or were you mostly good throughout?
I was good mostly throughout, just because I didn't have no baggage.
Speaks to your character.
Exactly.
I always tell people that. It's funny that, like, since I've been doing this show, all the guests we've had on don't really get a lot of weird questions. And we're like, well, that says a lot about you and your football character. So that's really exciting coming off of that. And now I know you've talked about you're actually fighting an injury a little bit at the combine, and it's impressive. You put up great numbers. How much was that really bothering you there?
It was extensive, and that's why I didn't do the position drills and the agility, but we knew we had to get through that. We knew teams wanted to see me run the 40, and all they wanted to see was that 4.4. So I knew at the end of the day it was hate it or love it, and I had to do it. And once I got that 4.4, it was ball game.
And it was a tough clock for a lot of the running backs. You stood out from the pack, a couple other guys, but a lot of guys were going 4.6, 4.65. So to come out of that, it must feel good, especially fighting that injury.
Exactly.
Any special draft plans now that it's almost here?
I'm gonna just lay back, enjoy time with my family, and then just enjoy this process. It's been a long couple months, and just being able to hear my name called is what I'm looking forward to next.
It's a really special moment, and I know you're a father.
Right.
Has that had any different kind of motivation for you since becoming a father on the field?
Yeah. I mean, you're no longer playing for just yourself. I never was playing for myself in the beginning. I was playing for guys that looked up to me, people from my city. But it puts even more of an emphasis on it when you have a child who's looking up to you. You know that this is a way that you can feed your family. So it makes it that much more imperative that you succeed on the field.
Without a doubt. And, I mean, you were one of the team captains at Michigan, a special group. I think it was you and Devin Bush. And a lot of special players there. I mean, Chase Winovich, Rashawn Gary playing for Jim Harbaugh. just what was that experience like being one of those guys that saw it through? You were a 4-year player.
Right.
You've been playing pretty much since you got there.
Right.
So what did that program do for you now that you look to go to the pros?
I think it prepared you very well for this process. You spent a lot of time in the building there, and just learning from the game of football, learning knowledge and being able to speak it and reciprocate and, just speak about what you learn and what you don't learn. And it puts you in a great position when you get into this position, because you're able to translate everything you went through in college into this, and it makes it so much easier. You're able to talk with coaches and GMs about football and understanding the points that they're trying to make and being able to reciprocate.
I think a lot of the things that Michigan does translates to the pros.
Exactly.
It's not like these Big 12 schools. I mean, it's power offense.
Right.
Just looking ahead here, actually looking back one more time, who's the biggest shit talker you ever faced? I love asking guys this.
Yeah, probably Chris Fry from Michigan State.
Okay.
23.
Damn, I'm surprised they were talking a lot. I thought you were.
Yeah.
Oh man, I thought you were gonna be an Ohio State guy. Who's the best defender you think you ever faced?
Marcus Allen from Penn State.
Okay.
He was a stud.
Yeah,
I don't think he's playing no more, but he was a stud.
No, he was a really good player. I believe he ended up in Pittsburgh, I want
Right.
to say. So, yeah, he was in the draft last year. Do you model your game after anyone specifically?
I just try and model it as best as I can as myself.
Yeah.
I have my own identity, but I pick and pull from a lot of great guys like Devontae Freeman, Adrian Peterson is big time to me. Mark Ingram, LaDainian Tomlinson. I watched those guys growing up, so I try and pick and pull different pieces, but I honestly just try and make my own identity.
And I remember after the Indiana game, you went up to Mike Hart, and you were like, you're one of my idols. What was that moment? Like, a guy that was so legendary at the program, did play in the pros, and now I think he's going to be a very successful coach. He's only going to rise from. He's only like 33, and he's already an assistant on Indiana's staff.
I agree, man. I think he's going to have a tremendous coaching career. I can only imagine the amount of knowledge that he's impelling on his players, But just to meet him and shake hands with him and, look him eye to eye is just honorable, especially having the opportunity to break his records and do things that he's done and exceed upon them. And I know how much the University of Michigan alumni and fans look up to Mike Hart. And, it's an honor to be able to be in that same conversation just with him.
Yeah, you really followed those footsteps and became one of those beloved Michigan running backs.
Right.
But you played for Jim Harbaugh. And one thing, we were talking to Chase Winovich, and I'm like, do you have any weird Jim Harbaugh stories? And he's like, well, the weird one is that he read Shakespeare before some games. Do you have that moment of meeting Jim, or just whoa, he's as crazy as I thought? Or do we have it all wrong?
It's so normal. It's so normal because it's just like every day he's doing something different.
Yeah.
And I'm saying different in a facet of that you don't see every day.
Okay.
But I'm so used to it because I'm like, okay, that's just Coach Harbaugh. That's just what he does.
But that has to keep you sharp.
Yeah, it does. But at some point you just bypass it. You're like, he's just doing what he does, and that's what it is.
Oh man, that's really good. Who's the most intense one of your teammates? I mean, you guys have this class where so many guys from that team are being drafted, including yourself. Is anyone just different? A lot of people say Devin Bush. He's just all football.
Yeah.
We talked to Chase. I mean, he was goofy, but he was also funny.
Right.
Was there anyone that on that roster that you're going to the NFL with that you had a really special bond with?
I had a special bond with pretty much everybody. Me and Rashawn are very tight.
Okay.
We pledged to the same fraternity.
Okay.
Phi Beta Sigma. So I spent a lot of time with him as well as Devin Bush. We spent a lot of time training together throughout the season and just being on top of each other, pushing each other to make sure he was ready every game, and vice versa, because we knew the end goal was to eventually go into the draft and be drafted.
Was there anyone else down at Bommarito training with you? For this draft class.
From Michigan?
Michigan or anywhere, really.
Yeah, there were boatload of guys. We had a lot of guys that are part of my agency. We had Nikon Murray. We had Jalen Moore.
Okay.
Derek Thomas, Gary Jennings.
Oh, yeah. Gary's been
Jacquez Patrick.
Okay.
We had a boatload of guys.
Good group.
And they were all down there working hard, busting their tails. And it was just an honor to be around another great group of guys who had the same dreams and intentions.
Yeah, I was going to say, how does that kind of push you each day? Because I was talking to Tyree Jackson, who's out west training with Drew Lock and Jarrett Stidham. That's a lot of arm talent in one area. Yeah. That's got to get kind of heated. And he's like, you're friends, but it's a lot of competition. Same with you, especially a guy like Jalen Moore, who I know has been trying to get healthy and work out like that. what has that environment been like?
Yeah, no, it's awesome. As far as running back goes, it's myself, it was Jalen Moore, Jaquez Patrick, Mike Weber. We just honestly pushed each other. We competed and stuff, but we knew eventually it was just an individual talent that we had to, explore and just release when the time came. And, we were rooting for each other. We still do. Those are a great group of guys, and it was an honor to be a part of their draft class.
That's really cool. All right, getting away from football, because I feel like you've probably just been through the ringer here of, like, football, this and that. What do you do off the field?
Man, spend a lot of time with my daughter.
Okay.
I like to go shooting. I like to do adventurous things. I like to ride go-karts, dirt bikes and those things. I like to go fishing, man. Pretty much anything that seems fun, I'll do it.
You're from Sarasota, right?
Yeah.
So have you been fishing, like, all your life?
Boat yeah. Okay. Pretty much. Okay. I mainly jet ski.
Oh, I'm a little jealous. When you meet someone and they say their hobby is jet skiing, that's awesome. You've been around Le'Veon maybe too much or something, or you're going to be soon. Man, that's awesome. And that's just like – and so how old's your daughter?
She's 4.
Okay. So we're getting close to kindergarten time.
Yeah, it's about that time.
What has you more nervous, her going to school soon or you playing in the NFL?
Probably me playing in the NFL.
Really?
Man.
I feel like the football comes easy to you.
It does, man, but it's just such a lifelong dream, And
that's true. And it's
for
here.
It to exactly be here and about to become reality is just, amazing.
That's awesome. Do you have any like preference where you want to go?
No, man.
Not
I'm
at all.
Open. I've never been like, hey, this is my team.
Okay.
I've always liked players and organizations, and every organization is different. And
for sure.
To be honest, it'd just be an honor to be a part of one of the 32.
And Michigan gave you a little taste of the cold.
They did.
So
yeah.
I always ask people, I'm like, what is that? Because I grew up in the Northeast. I'm from New York, and like all I know is the cold, pretty much. Now I travel a lot and I enjoy the warm weather, but like. I just can't imagine that transition of being like, I've been in 70-degree weather on the coldest days, and now I'm playing in 20-degree weather in the big house.
You get adapted to it. You practice in it, you train in it, and, eventually you just become a part of it, So I think if I were to stay, somewhere in cold weather temperature, I'd be fine.
I think so. I think you've had enough good games in cold weather at this point. All right, one more question before we get to our word association game. One line if you had an online dating profile. Just one-liner.
One line if I had an online
It's hard
dating
in one
profile.
line. Like
Holy
the best
cow.
thing about you.
Oh, man. The golden child.
I like that. That's your Instagram handle,
yeah.
right? All right. That's it.
That's
Nothing
it.
more.
Golden child.
Just let them know. The golden child. All right. Word association time. I'm just going to fire off a word. First thing that comes to mind for you. We talked. This one's really fun.
Let's do it.
Trust me, the answers have been absolutely crazy. This one we already talked about, but I gotta ask anyway. Just one word: Jim Harbaugh.
Crazy.
Simple enough. Ohio State.
Hate him.
Love it. I love that. No nice things about them, dude. Chase Winovich.
Crazy.
Yeah, he's pretty crazy. We had him on, and he was like telling us about. Like, his old name means wolf-like, and, like, dude, it was...
Hey, you'd be surprised what comes out of his mouth, man, but he's a heck of a football
player. Can you tell
player.
me anything crazy?
I mean,
he's probably said it to us, so...
He says a lot of crazy things. I can't pinpoint one specific thing. He's always going to tell you the story about, how he transitioned and stuff. Cool enough, Chase was actually my roommate when I first got to college.
Okay.
So we spent a lot of time together.
And was he... Because I think he did do a redshirt year. Was he 1 year ahead of you?
Yep. He was a redshirt.
So is that like a good person to have as kind of like your guy, like your older guy? I mean, you graduated together. But...
Well, when I came in, we both were at the bottom of the depth chart because I was new and he hasn't found his position yet.
Yeah.
And everybody just seen him as this weird guy.
Yeah.
Even the coaches.
Weird. He's just really good.
Yeah, there were coaches that were down him and stuff. So we were at that pinnacle where we were just pushing each other like, hey, we really got to make a standpoint. We really got to get involved and. We want to see ourselves playing on the field. And, we stuck with that mindset throughout camp. And here we are 4 years later.
That's amazing to have that defensive counterpart. Because, I know, you put on a ton of muscle since you got to the program.
Right.
You were a higher recruit to him, but he's also, completely transformed himself.
Right.
And, you guys, just are the guys that play 100 miles an hour.
Right.
That's how it's always been. So that's really cool to see. All right, one more word association. I want to think of a good one here. You're not going to say anything nice about Dwayne Haskins, so I already crossed that one off, although he's a pretty good player.
No, he's a good player, man.
Shea Patterson.
Baller.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's good for the program. that he's coming back for one more year.
I agree, man, and I think it gives him, another year to really just develop under the system. He's around a great group of guys that he's become accustomed to, and when you're comfortable, man, there's a lot of things that you can do. And
without a doubt,
we had a conversation a couple weeks ago, and I just told him, hey, look, I made the same decision, and look where it got me now. You can do the same thing.
Yeah, I always like to ask the guys, and you graduated before the season even started. Like, what was that a hard decision for you? Because running backs are told by people that probably never even played the position, and I'm guilty of saying at times too, if you can leave early, save your body.
Right.
But you didn't do that. You come back, have a fantastic year, team captain, just one of like the guys in the draft that people look at, like hard worker, checks every box. What do you think that staying that final year did for you in terms of becoming a pro?
I think it was big time. It gave me another year to elevate myself as a player. I topped the 1,000-yard mark, and I really just showcased myself each and every game. I had 7 straight 100-yard rushing games.
Yes,
That's
you
something
did.
that goes unsaid now. I had 8 100-yard rushing games out of the whole season. And then even my worst games really weren't bad games. We just lost.
Yeah.
If we won the game, it'd be a different conversation.
For sure.
So when you look at things in the nature of, hey, should he come out, should he not? It's really just within yourself. I want to have that 1,000-yard mark. A lot of things in this world are controversial. If I weighed in at 208 as opposed to 206, you wouldn't be calling me a smaller back.
It's insane, isn't it?
You know what I'm saying?
It's
It's just so many things that are just controversial that, that's why people probably cheated the fence.
Well, I think after the bench reps, I don't think anyone's calling you small anymore. There's only so much you could do with your frame. I mean,
Exactly.
I know it as well as anyone. So, man, and you left nothing on the table. Graduating early, team captain, lots of wins, lots of stats. A fantastic career, and I can't wait to see where it goes from here. We're rooting for you here. Can't thank you enough for stopping by, and just want to wish you the best of luck.
Thank you for having me, man. That's an honor.